Hello, my name is Shuttley and welcome back for another episode of Victoria 3 as Merina Kingdom. In previous episode we didn't actually do all that much. Spain called us into a war against Germany, but that war ended, I think, into a white peace. But we've managed to reduce our infamy quite a bit right now, so I think today what we're going to start with is a war against Kaffa. Now, what we do have going for us is we've got a good relation with Britain, so I don't think they can actually join in a war against us as long as we don't gain too much infamy or anything like that to make them be, well, geared against us. But if we just take Kaffa, that should be okay. Or Amhara, that should be alright. So we're going to start this one. I'm hoping that it will go alright. I'm not entirely sure if it will, but one can hope. We're still getting some money, although we've got almost 2 million in credit right now, so we do need to pay that one back. We do have some railways and government administrations underway. Apparently some paper mills as well, and then some barracks. So we are trying to build it up to max 25 barracks in here right now. Of course, 25 is not going to be enough for all that we need, but at least it's a little bit larger. We're also trying to pass the professional army, but I don't have high hopes for that one. And in terms of tech, we are getting the water tube boilers, and then after that the Bessemer process, so we can produce more steel locally. And then I think after that we're going to go into the military, get the general staff, then maybe triage, then field works, and then maybe the rifling to allow us to produce some more small arms. But I think that's going to keep our... oh, they've added a lot of war goals. Okay, they want Eritrea and Oromia. Well, I can't take any more from them, so that'll be fine. I think we will need to mobilize this army, though. Now, our troops are still light infantry and mobile artillery, but theirs, at least the barracks units, are just irregulars. What about the conscripts? That is light infantry and mobile artillery, but they haven't mobilized their armies yet. Right, but that is at least a start in there. So I think this army should be enough to just punch through the enemy lines, quite frankly, but we'll see. Kaffa declared rivalry, alright then. No surprises there, to be fair. So once we get the water tube boiler, that's going to allow us to produce more coal, as well as start using coal in a lot of factories, especially in Madagascar, because Madagascar, well, both Somaliland and Madagascar, both north and south parts, are rather low on manpower or workforce in there, while the growth in there actually fairly decent. Like southern Madagascar is getting 27,000 per year, roughly speaking, and northern is getting almost 29,000 per year, and then even Somaliland is getting about 20,000 per year. That is being incorporated in 3 years. We are going to try to accumulate a little bit more bureaucracy to start incorporating Oromia as well, because we would get a lot of taxpayers from there, which would be quite nice, admittedly. So I do wonder if they are going to call anyone in. Actually, now that we've done some invasion there, we'll improve the relation with Great Britain again, just to make sure that we don't, you know, have them be angry at us. They actually are quite friendly towards us. They are genial, so that does help quite a bit. If we can keep them happy, then I don't think there's too much over here that can realistically speaking join. I mean, Russia, they could join, but they wouldn't be able to bring the troops other than by landing, and the Russian troops usually aren't that great in quality. They've got a lot of them, but then that means that they can't really afford having them be as good quality, at least the AI doesn't usually. And Egypt, that's a potential issue, but I don't think there'll be a problem right now. Actually, what I should be doing is improve relations with Egypt as well, just to keep them on the up and up with their relations. So even with the army active, we are still getting £3,000 per week, which honestly isn't bad. Now, if only we could get the professional army down, we'd increase the army size over here in Merina to 40 battalions total. Or, not Merina, Oromia to 40 barracks total. And there we go, no one joined. So it's just me versus them. They've got a little bit of advantage in terms of numbers, but I don't think they've actually activated their conscripts yet, have they? No, they have. They're slowly hiring more. So they will have the numbers advantage to some degree, but our troops should be much better in quality, so I don't think this is going to be too bad of an issue. The war has broken out. We've still got a bit of legitimacy issues, but it's not the end of the world. Someone was suggested in the comments, though, which is actually a very good point, is that if we were to start boosting rural folk, that might take away some of the voters from landowners and devout. That might be something that we'll do, actually. Which one are we bolstering right now? I'm pretty sure we're bolstering something. Actually, no, we're not bolstering anyone. Well, we don't have the bureaucracy for that either. Speaking of all authority for that anyway, but we could put in... oh, luxury furniture, that would be another 3,000. I'm going to put that one in for now. Just so don't pay off the loan a little bit faster. So we've got 13 versus 26 in here. In terms of battalions, we've got a blunder, so that's making the casualties taken quite a bit higher. I think we're still, yeah, we're dealing a lot of good damage on the enemy, so we are going to win this combat. And now with the careful maneuver, we'll take less morale loss and less casualties. So they are already below the manpower that we have in this combat. So this is going to be an easy victory overall. Oh, bureaucratic imbroglio. We're going to lose some bureaucracy. Get some more radical bureaucrats. And that in time would be plus 10%. I'm going to try that. It's going to cost us a little bit in money, but it's not the end of the world. I want to really get this professional army. We just don't have very good chances of getting it, quite frankly. Oh, there we go. Water tube boilers. So let's go ahead and at least the coal mines. I'm going to put immediately to condensing engine pumps. So that's going to increase the amount of coal we produce drastically. We do need a bit more tools, admittedly. And I believe it reduces the labor need in there quite a bit as well. And put that on the iron mine as well. And then after that, we're going to go into Madagascar directly and do some of these. So it's tooling workshop. We put in the water tube boilers, so that would reduce the employment by 7,500 actually. Quite a bit. So that should relieve some of the issues, and then I suppose the engine production could be reduced some, or we could reduce the employment there. Paper mills could also, paper mills actually, well, I suppose that's going to make it a little bit cheaper to make this. But there's just not enough workers in here for a lot of the stuff. Steel mills, we could also put the water tube boilers. You know, I'll just go through the urban. I'm sure that while there might not be quite enough in the entire French market to feed everything, I think we can still reduce the worker need in our places quite significantly. I believe that is actually all of them. So let's see. We're now making 5,000 per week. Nothing massive. There we go, that's the first victory, and we took quite a bit of land there. They're down to 25 battalions out of 31. Oh, 20. Oh, there we go. Well, this is going to be another great victory. We started almost equal in terms of manpower in the combat. Although they had a lot more, or 9 more battalions in there. But of course, they took quite a bit of casualties in the previous fights. But yeah, if we just conquer this, we should be able to annex the nation soon. And we don't need to worry about the war taking a little bit longer even. Because that just means that the infamy will have some time to tick down during the war as well. Right, so if we have a look at the manpower in here, so there's not a lot of unemployed still. Oh, now there's a empty front. Which they are advancing in there. I'm guessing that one... Okay, now we're in there. Now they're on defensive again, that's empty. Oh. Oh, Mangbetu. For a moment I thought that was Brazil. Right, so Britain is expanding, as per usual. Is he uprising in Congo? Oh. But the French are also expanding quite a bit in Africa. So if we have a look, right, Fang over there is causing a problem, and then Mangbetu over here. So the British are basically going around the nations over here near Lake Victoria. That is actually one of the areas that can be fun to play as. Like, I've played as Buganda a couple of times. Oh, rubber discovered in Mekong, okay. But it's like, you get a pretty good set of resources in here. Like, you do actually get some iron and coal as well as you got a decent selection of various plantations and all that. You get rubber in here eventually and all that. So, yeah, no, it's okay. The population isn't massive. But the problem is that if you don't get colonization early, or pretty much immediately head for the colonization, then you will get surrounded in there and you are kind of stuck inland in there then. But if you do get colonization, there is a chance that you can colonize through Equatoria over here. There we go. We've got Amhara, so let's just go ahead and set the stuff here. So I'm just going to go through this one, because that's probably going to be the better option. We did actually get some bureaucracy from there as well, which is quite nice. Actually, switch from the slaughterhouse back to butchering tools. So we produce a bit less meat, but the meat prices are going to then go slightly up, and we save a lot in tools, which is actually going to be quite useful. Coffee plantations, I mean, I suppose we could use the transportation, although the transportation cost is going to be bloody massive. There we go, so I believe that is all of them. Actually, no, it's not all of them. Make sure to switch to the artillery and all that. Oh, and the naval bases, we could use the power of the purse. There we go. That's a little bit more. So, we don't actually have a lot unemployed in here. We've got such a massive amount of various plantations, to be fair. And there's just not enough infrastructure in here. It's only 51% right now. So, I think what we're going to do, it's going to increase the turmoil quite a bit, admittedly. So, it might cause a bit of issues. Well, I suppose if we do it slowly, we don't really need this many dye plantations for it. So, oh no, we'll start reducing the livestock farms. It'll go for 30 for now. So that means that we can expand the stuff in here as well. But that's going to free up a lot of unemployed into various other areas of the world, or the nation there. Crooked connections. Intelligentsia doesn't like us too much, but I'm going to take that regardless. So now we're making 12.9 thousand per month. And how much do we have in... We've got 7 plus 1 barracks in here. I'm going to make at least to 10, so we'll have 35 total. And if we just improve relations with Egypt to be pretty much full right now, we can then probably take Gondar. Not necessarily all in one war. You want to... Oh, Zanzibar wants allied. No. Zanzibar, we're going to be conquering you at some point. So we've got almost 4 million radicals, which admittedly is quite a bit. Partially is because the legitimacy isn't all that great. How's the tax... Oh, the tax levels are actually fairly high. Right, that's something that we do need to start reducing at some point. But right now, once we get rid of the debt, we will be getting about 20,000 per week just with the stuff that we have right now. And how much do we need... Okay, we need almost 300 bureaucracy to start incorporating Oromia. Luckily, we're going to incorporate these in just 5 years, which is really nice. So we can get a lot of new taxpayers from these lands. Because right now, incorporated population is about 4.7 million, and unincorporated is about 6.9 million. So yeah, it's quite an imbalance in there. There we go, we did inherit quite a bit in there. The standard of living is a bit low. I mean, the French market access is very low in here. Suppose if we were to get a railway or two, I'm sure that that would help. Just, you know, get at least a little bit of infrastructure in here. There is now a little bit unemployed at least, so that's good. I suppose we need to reduce the worker use in a lot of these places anyway. But we are going to increase the barracks in here for sure. And I suppose the population is increasing where... It's increasing decently. Oh, now we've got 10% chance of the professional army. Excellent. Hopefully, we can pass that sooner rather than later. So now we just need to wait for the infamy to drop down before we can, realistically speaking, afford fighting Tigray over here. And it's got 2 states. Well, half of a state and a state. Let's actually have a look. Now if we... Okay, it's 16.1 infamy to conquer just the part of Amhara. So at that point, it's almost easier to just conquer Gondar first. And then we, you know, we own most of it anyway at that point. So France is still colonizing. Oh, there we go. Organized sports. 10% more prestige. We've got already 200 prestige. It's not massive by any means, but it is growing. We've got 26.5 million GDP. Now, admittedly, we probably did inherit quite a bit in here. Yeah, it's 7 million over there. That's the 27% of their total. I mean, I suppose that, yeah, there is a lot of industries in here, actually. So we definitely need to get some railways in here to fix the infrastructure issues. We don't necessarily... Oh, didn't just break ranks. I'm not going to be paying for that. So we'll just stop that one then, I suppose. So, again, we're not getting the professional army. We got the free trade, we got interventionism. Taxation we probably can't change. Colonization we probably don't need to change, quite frankly, because there's not really a lot of colonies that we can make, realistically speaking. We could try going with property women, although that would radicalize landowners, which probably would be pretty bad. I mean, who's in the... Oh, right, it's those 3 in the government. Right. I can't... since we are a constitutional monarchy at this stage, we do have the elections and all that we need to sort of obey. Not much I can do about that there then, but at least now we're getting more and more money. Now we're paying only £8,000 per week for the interest, and we've got 1.3 million in there, so it's not too bad. I did actually notice while looking at the save before starting recording that Australia has formed, which is quite interesting. I don't see that happening all that often. And Canada, of course, has formed, although Great Britain apparently owns some parts of it. Then the USA is a bit of a mess. Oh, right, United States of America still owns this one, whereas the Confederate States of America doesn't have necessarily access to there. But I suppose Oman isn't really that massive of a market anyway. Mara, is that is a genial. We could start damaging relations with you, slowly but surely. So that eventually we can do a bit of expansion into Yemen as well. Because I doubt that's going to be too big of an issue. Although, how much... If we have a look at the interactions and states... The Congress state, that would be 5 infant. Okay, that's actually not too bad then. As long as we keep... oh, right, we can't improve relations with Britain anymore, so we've already reached the max levels there. Alright, then that's good. How's their relations with France? They are amicable. I don't think... yeah, we can't increase them. But that's alright. Oh, we lost some authority there. I suppose we could reduce the furniture taxation. Or luxury furniture taxation. A little bit less money, but at the same time, I suppose it will increase the standard of living for people. To some degree, not necessarily massively, but a little bit. And we're going to get the Bessemer process done now. So let's just go to the steel and start producing more of it. So we don't need any more coal. We will use a bit more iron. But we'll also produce a decent bit more steel. So that is actually quite nice. Should be increasing the revenue a decent bit. So what's the private... oh, right. We've got a lot of construction sectors. I'm just going to go with the iron frame buildings. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, but at the same time, it will increase the total construction that we can do quite nicely. And at the same time, right, so the private sector, motor industries, and dye plantation, and fishing wharves, okay. That's all still pretty much just in the incorporated states over here, which isn't necessarily... oh, okay, so the authorities going up and down, of course. Oh, parliamentary republic. That's a decent bit of support for it. But at the same time, if I can just get the intelligentsia area in, that would already make a massive difference in who might be the most popular of the interest groups. So now we're getting a general staff that's going to allow us to... oh yes, intelligentsia's interest group should be increased, or the political strength should be increased. There's currently 21%, no, 23%. Industrialists are 21% as well. So if we do have a look at the potential for new elections, Conservative Party would still be 44%, Liberal Party 20%. Oh, right, because Liberal and Free Trade Party are different things. Okay. Combined, they could still get a decent bit of stuff in there, but for the government, but probably not the best, not yet at least. And the amount of radicals is still growing, although we're about to get the infrastructure in here, or the railway in here, so that should start improving the infrastructure total. We'll put in another railway to the rear of the queue in there, just so that we can get a little bit more done. So how's the bureaucracy? We now got 166. That's not a massive amount, but it's better than nothing. And we still need another 125, well, let's say 130, before we can start incorporating Oromia. I mean, we could, but at the same time, or we could start doing it sooner, but it would cost us a lot in taxpayers, or tax money rather, not taxpayers, so not exactly something that I would plan on doing. We're incorporating Somaliland, so that's hopefully going to start... there's quite a bit of turmoil in here, actually. But if we could start reducing that a bit further, that'd be nice. Is that going up? No, it's actually going... no, it is kind of going up. And then going down... okay, it is actually slowly sliding downwards. Well, that's good news for us. So how's the debt looking right now? We are still paying almost 6,000 per week. And the investment pool is 10 million. Okay, so once we get through the construction that we're doing right now, we could just let the private sector take over the construction, and that would mean a lot more money from the investment pool used in building up our economy. So GDP has actually dropped a tiny bit. We are number 14 worldwide. So Great Britain is the first one, then France, Germany, Austria, Great Jing, Russia, Heavenly Kingdom. So both Jing and Heavenly Kingdom are in the top 10. Then Confederate States of America, Brazil, and then there's 3 others in or above us in there. Oh, Austria and Ottomans are going to be fighting. Now we still need to wait for the infamy to drop down a bit further before we can take the rest of Ethiopia, but at least we did manage to expand a little bit already. Oh, and Cape Colony is having a bit of a revolution there. Meanwhile, France is colonizing a bit further. How's South America looking like? Well, there's Bolivia. Ecuador is still fairly large. New Granada is fairly large as well. Venezuela. And all that, so yeah, there's not too much going on in there. How's the worker shortage looking over here? It is still pretty bad. Well, the shipyards aren't making a lot of money, but of course I don't have the techs yet to build steam ships, so that will have to wait. Right, so now we're getting some more administration centers in Oromia. That should increase the taxation capacity there a little bit. It's still minus 15% tax collection, but, you know, overall we'd still probably get a pretty good amount of money from it. Oh, Trucial States wishes to enter into defensive pact. Nah, we're part of the British market already. It should be fine. The general staff is going to be done right about now, so that means that we can switch to the skirmish infantry. And it's going to take about a year to sort of fix up everything, but after that, we will have a lot stronger army. And I suppose now if we just switch all of these into skirmish infantry, doesn't mean a bit more ammunition, but I suppose that's going to start increasing the ammunition price, which actually isn't all that bad. Oh, we can't even... Oh, right, we can't make the conscripts be skirmish infantry, but that's alright. It doesn't mean that it's going to be too bad of an impact on the economy then. So if we were to lower the taxes, that would be potentially a bit of a loss. At the same time, that would increase the legitimacy a little bit. Although it wouldn't go us or get us to the next sort of bracket, so it would still be causing us a bit more radicals, and we are actually getting a little bit loyalist right now. Not a lot though. Actually, no, it seems like it's actually slightly going down over time there, but over time I'm sure that we'll be able to get a little bit more. And the, oh wow, the standard of living in, oh wow, in the British colonies there is actually fairly high. Are they using all the pops there? They are using all the pops for various plantations. Right, well I suppose there's not a lot of unemployed there at least. And they got pretty good market access overall, so I suppose that helps. But yeah, those are, how much was it over here? 19.4, oh wow. Damn. They beat my standard of living quite a bit over here. Like, my standard of living, especially in our capital area, is around 13. Oh, is it? Right, we got 17.2 over here in Eritrea, so that is increasing the average quite a bit. Which, to be fair, isn't too bad. We're getting a bit more rail. Oh, right, we are already building up railway in here. Oh, the private sector is building a railway in here. Well, I suppose that does help. We can get the market access a little bit better in here. Slowly but surely. There is a bit of unemployment in here still, so that's fine. I could potentially reduce the... Oh, the cotton price over here is pretty tiny, so we'll reduce the cotton plantations a little bit. It will increase the radicals, no doubt, in here at least a little bit. Understand, or market access is still pretty bad, but slowly but surely. Oh, resource boom. Southern Madagascar. More logging, mining, and all that, so that does mean quite a bit more money, I reckon, especially from the coal mines, which we could still have a lot in there if we had the population, quite frankly. Which we don't, but perhaps one day we will. Oh, Britain is doing a bit of wars. Of course, we don't have it right, but is it this? Yeah. So Britain is going to be taking all the outer Hausaland. Potentially, what's the resources in there like? There is coal in there, so it's not too bad. Oh, and we're getting another university in Oromia as well. We should probably get a university over here as well, just to provide a little bit more of the, well, innovation, but also just qualifications a little bit faster. We could potentially, well, I mean, the food price over here is tiny. We could probably reduce the millet farms down to 30 as well. So that leaves a few more plantations or something that we could build in here over time. Not necessarily yet, but also reduces the infrastructure use a tiny bit. So now we're at 60% market access, which hopefully will start kind of improving the situation in here. I'm not entirely sure if it will, let's be honest, but at least one can hope. So we're still losing a decent bit of money overall, or rather, if we were to lower the taxes is what I'm going here with. If we were to lower the taxes, we'd still be losing some money, although I suppose it wouldn't be too bad if we don't have a lot of debt right now, so I'm just going to reduce the taxes. It might actually not be much of a deficit, after all. Maybe a tiny bit, but like the standard of living should start going up, which means that the people have more money to buy things, and of course the legitimacy going up a tiny bit at least will definitely help. Admittedly, we'd have to take it quite a bit lower in terms of taxes to be able to get to the next bracket to get some more loyalists, but I suppose this alone should already be maybe reducing the radicals a little bit and increasing the loyalists. In the meanwhile, our infamy has dropped to 12.2. We can't yet declare war on Mara, but I think the war on Mara could be the next one that we do, as long as like it shouldn't give us too much infamy in there. There's not a lot of pops in there, admittedly, either, but like we could probably get at least... Actually, why do they have so much in here? A lot of tooling workshops. Right. They don't have wood for that. They got some trade centers and all that, but yeah, I think over here, once we conquer this, we'll just reduce the industry drastically. We'll probably leave a little bit in there, but nothing too bad. Or nothing too much, rather. Ah, now we're making £2,500 again. So the loss in tax income wasn't actually that massive. It was like 6,000 or something. But at the same time, a lot less radicals from standard of living decreases. So the radical number should be going down steadily now. And we're also getting a bit more loyalists. I mean, we gained a decent bit of loyalists just from the tax reduction. But overall, I'm sure that that's going to have even larger impact over time. Oh, right, we're also building a paper mill over there, but it's not going forward all that quickly with the university. The paper mills. We've got glass works in Amhara, okay. We get some barracks in there and a few other things. Right, is there... Oh, there's election happening, so who's going to be winning? Agrarian Party 7... Okay, so Conservatives are probably going to be winning again. Suppose we should... If we had the bureaucracy, maybe we could reduce one of these consumption taxes. Let's remove the tobacco tax. I'm going to start bolstering the rural folk just to start reducing the landowners and devouts voter base. At least to some degree. The armed forces, well, it might have a bit of an impact in there, but it's not initially too much of an impact, I reckon. But if we start reducing their... Oh, well, I suppose the Parliamentary Republic... No, the landowners would be radicalized from that, and they are quite influential, so that would be bad. And the devout would also be against that. Oh. Subjugate need... Okay, so... Right, well... The French are going to be in the neighborhood as well. Although I'm not entirely surprised by that, to be fair. We're getting a relation with Egypt up at least a little bit, so they shouldn't be joining in a war against me anytime soon. Which would be definitely a good news for us. The infamy is down to 10 points. We are about to get the triage. Oh, and the triage is actually the one that is spreading to us as well. But once we get triage, we can get the morale loss reduction at least, and we can... I mean, actually, what was it again? First aid, so morale loss minus 25%, recovery rate plus 50%. It requires a bit of liquor and fabric, but those are quite easy to come by, so we will be able to improve the effectiveness of our military a little bit. And how much do we have our army in? We've got 27, we've got 7 extras in there. We could either increase the size of this army or get a second army in here soon enough. I think we'll wait until we have 40. Oh, revolution. Freedom of conscience. Okay, if we were to support that one, rule folk would be radicalized, armed forces would be... Well, they wouldn't be radicalized. Devout would oppose that, of course. We could probably do that. I suppose it would mean that there's less authority for us, but the Devout's political strength would go down, so the Conservative Party would win less elections. So I will do that. I don't know if it's going to pass. We'll have a look at least if we can get through there or not. Oh, we lost a decent bit of authority right now. So how's the elections poised to happen? The Conservatives are probably going to win about half the votes. So sooner or later we probably need to get further on. Oh, industrial boom. North Madagascar, excellent. That's going to be even more money, hopefully. Well, I mean, we are actually losing a bit of money right now. It's not too bad, but we are losing a little bit of money. But I suppose once the turmoil starts dropping, I mean, it's all... Still, well, it might be actually going down slightly. But it's a long way to go to get all of that done. Oh, is that one? Oh, it is incorporated now. Okay. So we're actually getting some taxing them from here. And of course the infrastructure levels over there are now a lot better. Right, Conservative Party won the election. Have a look at the reform government. Oh, we could bring the industrialists into the power. Okay, that would reduce the legitimacy a little bit, but it still would be over 50. Right now, at least. Or if we bring the rural folk, then... No, I'm going to bring the industrialists in power. There we go. So, while it might not increase the chance of success on this particular law... Well, actually, is it? I don't know, but we got triage now, so let's go ahead and switch that on the militaries. First aid. I still can't change the conscript centers, but I suppose we don't really use conscripts all that often anyway. So it's not the end of the world. So that does increase the cost of our military a little bit. But at the same time, it does make them a bit more effective, so I'm willing to take that. Plus, I suppose it does increase the... Actually, no, I don't think it does. Does it increase the power production at all? I don't know. Actually, probably not. But just increasing the amount of armies that we have will definitely help there. And the French are doing a landing now in Arabia. But Arabia is getting a little bit of paper production. We do still need a bit more bureaucracy to incorporate this. How's the tax collection? Okay, it's 10%, so we could probably put in another government administration in here. Maybe actually even 2. So we get the tax collection rate a little bit higher. We also get the bureaucracy in there, which means that we can then incorporate Oromia, hopefully. We just need to reduce relations with Mara just a little bit more, and then we're going to declare war on them. Revolution. Oh. Okay, I suppose we'll stop passing this one then. Because I do not want to have a revolution. So those are still fairly radical, but it's not quite enough to cause issues as such. So we'll just leave that be, I suppose. So is there any other laws that we could try passing? We could try going for the wealth voting. Landowners would not like that, but intelligentsia and industrialists would definitely like that. Petite bourgeoisie would enjoy that as well. We'll try to pass that one. I don't know if it's going to pass, but we'll give it a try. That would mean that a bit more people would be able to vote, which, you know, would allow us to shift the power away from the landowners more and more. So now we're getting the field works that is already spreading, so that's good. And just a little bit more, and we can do the war against Mara, although I do realize we are actually out of time for this episode. So if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Also got the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.